you a little bit of a taste of the original teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda as it's described, at least some of the incidents of the time that Swami Kriyananda lived with Yogananda, the last 3.5 years of Yogananda's life. And it's a sunny day in the greater Seattle area. We're still, full of heavy snow on the ground, but it's a little bit starting to melt. I never thought I would be so happy for 30 degrees and sunshine. Anyway, it's New Year's Eve day, December 31st, and I thought I would read to you from Swami Kriyananda's experience living in the ashram with Yogananda on that occasion. He said, on New Year's Eve, we gathered for a midnight meditation, again led by the master in the main chapel. At one point during the proceedings, he softly beat a large gong, then gradually increased and decreased the volume in waves. Imagine this as the sound of Om, he told us, spreading outward to infinity. At the same time, 100 miles away in Encinitas, another group of disciples was meditating in the main room of the hermitage. They too heard the gong that the master was striking in Los Angeles. One of the monks later told me it was as though someone were beating it in the hallway just outside the room. The meditation that followed at Mount Washington was enthralling. Midnight came. Suddenly, waves of noise swept upward from the city below and inward from the surrounding neighborhood. Factory whistles, car horns, shouts, countless celebrants were ushering in the new year. A neighbor's door opened and a voice screamed desperately into the night, "Happy New Year!" How pathetic those festive tones compared to the soul joy we were experiencing in our little chapel. And how blessed, I reflected, how wonderfully happy I was to be in this holy place at the feet of my divine Guru. I prayed that the new year would bring me an ever deepening awareness of God's love. It is very beautiful experience when we can actually meditate into the new year. If we have it within us to stay up late enough in order to, we used to have a tradition here at Ananda in Washington to I believe it was like from 10 o'clock until about 12:15, we would hold a meditation at the temple. First when we had the rented facility and later in the beautiful Blue Lotus Temple in Bothell. But we were always concerned about encouraging or inviting people to have to drive that night in order to reach the temple, because there are so many more accidents that take place on that night. Swami Kriyananda describes here the great blessing of being in the ashram setting with Yogananda, where they were all already together, and they could have that experience without putting more cars on the road. And in fact, because Yogananda was an avatar, a great master, as he describes in this little story, the devotees who were in the other ashram at Encinitas, 100 miles away, could hear that sound of Om that he was creating for them at Mount Washington, because it's an inner sound of Om, and we can attune ourselves to it anytime. Because of the snow here in Seattle, we have decided to do our New Year's meditation and celebration strictly online this time, but residents in the Linwood community, where it will be live streamed from, will be able to go and meditate there. And it starts earlier because initially we thought it would be hybrid. And so it does start at 7 and it goes until 8:30. I hope you can have the opportunity to meditate with us, even if it's online. And then if you're able, stay up a little later and meditate into the new year. It's not only a symbol of your intention for the new year to go deeper with your meditation, but it's also a window onto spirit in that moment. I remember a lot of very happy New Year's Eve meditations with Swami Kriyananda at Ananda village, often snowed in, and meditating with all the residents together there into the new year. It is a blessing to be able to do that. And now, because of technology, we're all able to do it together online. Joy to you, and happy, blessed New Year. Bye-bye now.